What should you look for in a good Chuck Culture Change champion? The first thing really is credibility. A lot of culture change processes involve some sort of training. And with that in mind, you're going to be putting this individual in front of groups of workers, managers, possibly, maybe even senior managers. And that means they have to have a credible delivery. They've got to know what goes on in the organisation. Consultants can do that. Consultants can do that through visiting the organisation, through immersing themselves in what goes on in that organisation. But in a lot of ways, you can't beat people who've worked in the organisation and worked in the organisation for a long time, which gives them immediate credibility, particularly with workforces. Workforce will sometimes react less than positively to having someone from outside stood in front of them, whereas they are much more responsive to someone who comes from their own organisation because they know they understand the problems and the challenges that go on in that organisation. So credibility is the first thing. The next one I would say is personality. You wouldn't necessarily go to the safety department to look for an individual that's going to front up, champion your culture change programme. Safety individuals, some of them are really good on their feet, some of them are not. It's just like every walk of life. So you don't necessarily feel you have to be locked in to the safety individual to get your champion for your programme. You can look elsewhere, and I would always look very broadly at the material that's available on the shop floor or at any level in your organisation. I was at one of the airports some years ago now, and there was a guy there who was a plater. Never been on his feet before in front of gangs of people, and he was absolute dynamite. This guy had missed his calling, he'd ended up doing plating instead of training, and there he was delivering the material just like a professional. So personality is really important. Don't feel you're locked into the cliched individuals that perhaps you might go to ordinarily for your training. Sense of humour. Unfortunately, one of the problems with safety in particular is if it's delivered in the wrong way, it can be dull, it can be patronising, and the last thing you want is an individual in front of you spouting off the rules and regs, a bit like Keith Lard from the Peter Kay show. What you need is someone who understands what's going on and can deliver it in an entertaining fashion to some extent, and that means having a sense of humour at the appropriate moments in the delivery, so that they're not actually, you wouldn't laugh about serious injury and things like that, but there are ways of delivering this material that's more entertaining than perhaps the norm in safety. And those are probably the main things. You need credibility, personality, and you need a sense of humour.